We didn't say they were going to be great this year. We said they were going to be fun, and that's exactly what they were tonight. Cardinals win 7-5 in 10 innings over the Washington Nationals. This is your Card Central 365 postgame show powered by Gray Bar here on STL Sports Central. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. Yep, Gray Bar does that. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Cardinal broadcaster Stefan Caray. And Stefan, I luckily had some 12U youth baseball tonight that I think might have been as ugly as the first 5 innings of the game that you had to watch. But I came in for the second half, and the Cardinals finally turned it on as home runs by Jordan Walker and Nathan Church allowed them back into the game. I think we can maybe forget about the first half of the game and we could just focus on the good from what happened tonight. But let's start with the bullpen. Let's start with what happened after Matthew Liberatore came out. That was what Oli Marmol and the Cardinals and the pitching staff needed tonight.
Yeah, they really did. And again, it was a game where you needed more from Matthew Liberatore. We're not going to let him off the hook after 5 innings. We needed him to go deeper into this game. There was no question about it. The bullpen has been depleted. They've been overworked and overused with the starting rotation that hasn't been able to get too deep into games so far this season. I get it. It's 2026. You're only in your second, maybe third start in Liberatore's case. You're not used to seeing them go 6 or 7 innings, but it was a gutsy performance by the group. Gordon Graceffo came in, did a nice job. Again, he was one of those guys that was wondering why he didn't make an appearance yesterday. They have their reasons, but you're right. I wouldn't necessarily say it was an ugly game as a company man now in 2026, but helter-skelter might be the word that I would use. It was good to see them win a game they weren't supposed to win after losing a game they were supposed to win yesterday. So we're going to see a little bit of that this year, and this young, exciting team, they may not always give you a start, but they're always going to give you a finish.
Yeah, and that was Brendan and I had the postgame show last night as well. And as we're kind of going through everything last night, wondering what could have gone differently for the Cardinals, Gordon Graceffo was a name that came up. And seeing what he did in his 2 outings against the Mets, I felt should have overshadowed the kind of negative outing he had against the Tigers. And for one reason or another, he wasn't a go-to guy last night. But I do think not only him, but I think George Soriano was a guy that the Cardinals wanted to be able to put in that position. And I think what the Cardinals now are wanting, they want George Soriano to kind of have that same role that Matt Swanson had last year, a guy that kind of came out of nowhere that you knew had good stuff, but never really put it together. And he was shaky in Detroit, but I think an outing like tonight is going to give him that 6th or 7th inning in a bigger situation. I don't know how much you get bigger tonight, but I mean, for a comeback win, like he was out there when they were down. And I think tonight earned George Soriano a bigger spotlight for next time.
Yeah, I think this game certainly was a microcosm of what you want to see out of your bullpen. You're not going to see the macro. You're not going to see everything that you want to happen, but you're starting to figure out which pieces fit where. And I think a game like this helps to solidify those ideas. You saw it with Oli Marmol, and this comment here by Mason Windu was right on the money, right? George Soriano coming in to get 6 outs was something that I don't think anyone would have anticipated, but you look at the situation. If they were going to use Riley O'Brien in the 8th inning, they would have used Riley O'Brien in the 8th inning. They didn't. So they turn to Soriano. They say, hey, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go 8th and 9th. He ends up doing it, picking up 6 huge outs, and the Cardinals get a chance to take the lead in the 10th. They do it. They get the ever-important 2 runs on the road, which, of course, would have certainly been a tie game because they ended up scoring that 6th run thanks to J.J. Weatherholt's double. But you saw great performances from Soriano and Graceffo, and, of course, Riley O'Brien has been nails. But Soriano's stuff, that arm side run that he has on that fastball, It was dominant. They had no answer for it today. He was able to start it in against lefties and work it back out. Just love to see it from him. And you're starting to see, all right, we know O'Brien we can trust. We know Romero we can trust. Graceffo has been pretty good, especially in some tense situations this year. And Soriano, more often than not, has been good. So we've gone from 2 options really that you can turn to now 4, and depending on the night, if Stanek is going, 5. But it really just depends on if they're available on a night-by-night basis.
And Stanek's one of those where you wonder if he is going to fall out of favor or if he's going to drop in the depth chart of the relievers. We'll see how that plays out over the next few games. Let's get into the key moment of the game, and I want everybody that's watching on the YouTube chat, keep coming in here. Make sure you keep hitting that like and subscribe button as you're entering into the Card Central 365 postgame show. Give us your key moments of the game tonight, brought to you by The Key Burger Bar and Boogie in the Grand Center Arts District. The Burger Bar features the ultimate smash burger experience, and it's a great place before, during, or after any game. It's The Key STL Burger Bar and Boogie, 3225 Olive in Midtown. Find out more at thekeystl.com. Stefan, there is a lot to choose from and a few different ways you can go with this. What is your key to the game tonight?
Yeah, I think to me, it's pretty obvious. Nathan Church's 2-run home run to tie the game. For him to get that swing, especially with how much he had struggled offensively in that moment, was huge. To get it from the bottom of the order, which has been, for lack of a better word, abysmal of late. Offensively, this group needed that. They needed that swing from him in particular. They needed contributions from their left field or fourth outfielder options, and they got it from both Sajacy and Church tonight. Sajacy came up with a couple of opportunities with runners on first and second and nobody out. I'll be curious to hear what the post-game interview is like. If somebody asked the question to Ollie about the strategy there, not laying down a bunt, I'm sure there's a reason for it. We know that some guys handle the bat better than others, but for Church to come up in that moment in the 10th as well and hit that double was really big, because that sets up Pozo to move him up 90 feet. And then, of course, Church strikes out and JJ Weatherholt doubles. So there were a lot of big moments, but I think Church's 2-run home run to tie the game was the biggest.
So JC double in the 10th to give them the lead and drive in Mason Wynn. I think, yeah, Church is the obvious choice with that. The JJ Weatherholt double, I think for a few reasons. Not only did it give you that extra insurance, did it give you that second run of the inning that you're always chasing when you're the away team in these extra inning games. That first one is just absolutely necessary. That second one is what allows you to breathe just a little bit. But as they pointed out on the broadcast too, that was Weatherholt's first career double, which means that was his first extra base hit since the home run on opening day. He's been getting on base. He's been doing things right. He's not running away with the Rookie of the Year by any means, but he's doing enough to stay in the lineup and like what you're seeing every day. And he's also kind of your only option at leadoff right now too. So Weatherholt is but he's been maintaining right now. He's not doing anything flashy, but to see that double too, especially after a big strikeout early in the game, something that we've seen him do quite a bit more than I expected, I think, with JJ Weatherholt striking out in the early going this season. But I think that double was probably really big for his confidence.